In Afghanistan, there is a little poor boy named Ade. One day, a rich man comes at Ade's house to give donation, as well as providing meal. After having meal for several hours, he undergoes starvation. Starvation is the result from decreased blood glucose level in his body. Due to starvation, Adik's body will undergo negative feedback mechanism to restore homeostasis. Homeostasis will maintain the normal blood glucose level and energy generation. Adik will undergo carbohydrate, lipid, and protein metabolism. There are two steps in carbohydrate metabolism, which is glycogenolysis and glyconeogenesis. Glycogenolysis occurs for the first 6 hours, while glyconeogenesis occurs after 10 to 24 hours. Glycogenolysis is a process of converting glycogen to glucose. First, glycogen is converted to glucose 1-phosphate by glucagon. Glucose 1-phosphate is then converted to glucose 6-phosphate with the presence of phosphoglucomutase. Glucose 6-phosphate will directly convert to glucose by enzyme phosphatase or convert to fructose 6-phosphate first by enzyme phosphohexose isomerase. Fructose 6-phosphate is then converted to glucose. Gluconeogenesis is a process where glycogen that have been stored is depleted. Glycogen is stored in form of amino acid, pyruvate, and fatty acid. Pyruvate is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate by enzyme PEP carboxykinase. It then undergoes a few steps to form glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Glyceraldehyde is then converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate. It then converted into fructose 1,6-biphosphate first, then converted into glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate is then converted into glucose, which is the source of ATP. What will happen to lipid during starvation? Lipid will undergo gluconeogenesis, in which lipid will be converted into glycerol and free fatty acid. Fatty acid will be broken down to acetyl-CoA by beta oxidation. Acetyl-CoA are converted into acetoacetate by undergo several steps. Acetoacetate is then converted into acetone or beta-hydroxybutyrate. Acetoacetate will be converted back to acetyl-CoA and enter TCA cycle. What will happen to protein during starvation? Protein will undergo gluconeogenesis. Protein will hydrolyze to form amino acid and undergo deamination to form amino group and keto group. Amino group will form urea, while keto group will form ATP. Amino acid that involve in glucose metabolism during starvation is alanine, glycine, threonine, and tryptophan in pyruvate, and then enter TCA cycle. Leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan is amino acid in acetoacetate, which will enter TCA cycle. Glutamine is amino acid of alpha-ketoglutarate, which then enter TCA cycle. Isoleucine, methionine, valine, and threonine is amino acid for succinyl-CoA and then enter TCA cycle 2. Tyrosine and phenylalanine is amino acid for fumarate, also enter TCA cycle. Asparagine and aspartate is also amino acid for oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate will enter TCA cycle to convert into glucose. In conclusion, enzyme is responsible for metabolic response for fasting or starvation. Carbohydrate metabolism will undergo glycogenolysis, while protein metabolism and lipid metabolism both undergo gluconeogenesis. Carbohydrate, protein, and lipid metabolism is responsible to restore blood glucose level and ATP generation during starvation.